The world in 2030. The world in 2030 will seem drastically transformed. Everything from nanotechnologies to the Metaverse will exist, and they have the ability to rapidly alter people's lifestyles. While some of these developments may have a tremendous influence on the world, others may pose a threat. It's always and only a matter of time before the world is completely transformed into something we may not be able to fully understand as of now. Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. Join us as we take a fascinating journey through how the world would look in 2030, with everything totally advanced. Number 1. 8K virtual reality headsets will become mainstream. By 2030, most VR screens will have 8K resolution, which has 4 times the number of pixels on 4K screens. When you view character models and objects up close with these devices, there will be zero visible pixelation, resulting in breathtaking detail and realism. Because of other equipment upgrades, VR games will have near zero latency and a wide field of view. Additionally, some haptic suits will become electrode meshes to maximize comfort and convenience. Apple is rumored to release its own 8K virtual reality headset in the mid-2020s. Number 2. Humanlike AI will likely become a reality. By 2030, there will be exponential improvements in computer processing power, voice recognition, image recognition, deep learning, and other software algorithms. Likewise, natural language processing technologies like GPT-3 are constantly being updated and surpassed. It will likely reach the point where artificial intelligence can pass the Turing test. This is a test where a human engages in a conversation with a machine and probes it with numerous questions. And if that machine can convince that person that it's a human, it passes the test. This could quickly lead to an AI-generated virtual assistant that has the capability to carry out nuanced conversations with you. And later, this technology could carry over to characters in virtual worlds and video games. Number 3. Brain interface devices will become mainstream. By 2030, most VR headsets could include the option for a brain-computer interface to record users' electrical signals, enabling actions to be directed by merely thinking about them. Headbands and wristbands with non-invasive sensors could become the preferred choices for mainstream brain-computer interface use. However, the immersive effects provided by brain-computer interfaces could be limited at this stage and only usable in specific situations. Nonetheless, they will provide increasingly more lifelike ways of interacting with virtual characters, objects, and environments in the Metaverse. Number 4. The first quantum computers with 1 million qubits will emerge. By 2030, IBM and Google could each build quantum computers with 1 million qubits. This advancement will revolutionize how we solve optimization problems, train and run machine learning algorithms, and better understand the physical processes of nature down to the subatomic level. It will revolutionize areas such as artificial intelligence, financial modeling, drug development, weather forecasting, and cybersecurity. And by as soon as 2035, fully functional quantum computers could become available to the public both in the cloud and as physical units. Number 5. 3D printed human organs will begin being used. By 2030, 3D printing will be used to construct a living biological system. Layer after layer of cells could be dispensed from printer heads and placed exactly where they're needed with microscopic precision. Initially, they'll construct simple components like blood vessels and tissues. Next, they will begin to print relatively simple organs. In the coming decades, they could eventually print the majority of the 78 organs in the human body. Number 6. Artificial brain implants will restore lost memories. By 2030, it could become possible to replicate small areas of the brain with artificial brain implants in order to repair damage from Alzheimer's, strokes, or injuries. This also includes the restoration of lost memories. That's because these devices can mimic the electrochemical signals from regions like the hippocampus, which is involved in the consolidation of information from short-term to long-term memory. The device would work by effectively replacing damaged parts of the brain, predicting what those parts of the brain should do from moment to moment, and then allowing the transmission of brain signals between areas where there was once a gap. Through the 2030s and 2040s, artificial brain implants will become increasingly more effective at replicating complex functions in the brain. Number 7. SpaceX's first crewed Mars mission will be successful. By as early as 2024, SpaceX astronauts will launch into space and reach Mars by 2025. They will use the SpaceX Starship on the Super Heavy rocket to reach the planet. Additionally, they'll bring robots with them to perform activities like making basic materials and parts on Mars. Additionally, after landing on Mars, the spacecraft would be loaded with methane-based rocket fuel that they would create on Mars to return to Earth. Number 8. The first version of the quantum internet could emerge. A quantum internet would be one that uses quantum signals instead of radio waves to send information. This type of internet would be primarily used to send data that can't be hacked or intercepted using conventional methods. In 2030, it may be possible to use a personal computer to transmit or access quantum encrypted information through a cloud-based quantum computer. The US Department of Energy has already unveiled its blueprint for a national quantum internet, and we may see a prototype for it by 2030. Number 9. A billion human genomes will be sequenced. By as early as 2025, DNA testing will be so cheap, fast, and routinely accessible that over 1 billion human genomes will be sequenced around the world. That's about 1/8 of the world's population. The quantity of genomic data will reach the exabyte scale, larger than the video file content of the entire YouTube website. This massive amount of data will make it easier than ever before to use artificial intelligence to identify multiple disorders linked to specific genes, including cognitive disorders. Since 75% of the person's IQ is attributed to genetic differences, the identification and exploitation of these genes could play a huge role in creating super intelligent humans in the coming decades. Number 10. Human brain simulations could become possible. By as early as 2025, the exponential growth of data and information technology could make it possible to form accurate models of every part of the human brain and its 100 billion neurons. Although it could be possible to scan and map a complete human brain down to the neuron level, analyzing the enormous volumes of data it contains and using that to fully understand its workings will take much longer. It could even help us in areas such as non-biological brain augmentation, using brain-computer interfaces to control virtual objects and the transferring of memories from humans to machines and machines to humans. Number 11. Terabyte internet speeds could be commonplace. By 2030, 6G could replace 5G. Some experts estimate that it could be 100 times faster than 5G, which equates to 1 TB per second. At that speed, you could download 142 hours of Netflix movies in 1 second. 6G would also make it possible for cyberspace to support human thought and action in real time through virtual reality and brain-computer interface devices mounted on the human body. This would result in virtual reality experiences that feel and look just like real life. Additionally, the Internet of Things will have the potential to grow by further orders of magnitude. It wouldn't just connect billions of objects, it would connect trillions of objects. Number 12. Smart grid technology will become widespread. In the developed world, by 2030, integrated smart grids will become widespread in developed nations. Smart grids will provide the following advantages. Smart grids allow energy to be transmitted in both directions through power lines. This means that homes and businesses can add surplus electricity into the system so that no energy goes to waste. Smart grids will be adaptable to the sporadic power output produced by solar and wind energy sources, which would make large-scale renewables more feasible. With a smart grid, if a broken transmission line causes a blackout, sensors instantly locate the damaged area, while electricity is rerouted to the affected area. This will lead to fewer noticeable blackouts in the future. In the coming decades, smart grids will expand to even larger scales. Entire regions and countries will begin merging their grids together. Number 13. Foldable electronics could become commonplace. By the mid-2020s, printed electronics could explode into the mainstream, creating a new generation of ultra-thin electronics. By 2030, they will have such low fabrication costs that they'll be commonplace in countless everyday business and consumer applications. Many previously bulky or heavy devices could be folded, stored, or carried as easily as sheets of paper. This includes flexible TV displays that could be rolled or hung like posters. Foldable smartphones and foldable e-books could also become widespread. Number 14. Open source 3D printed clothes will be at near zero cost. 3D printing will become a mainstream consumer technology and produce items of clothing for just a few cents. By as early as 2024, 3D printing will be over 30 times faster than it was in 2014. Millions of open source designs will be available to download. Sweatshops in developing countries could decline as a result, with low-paid factory jobs being made obsolete. Number 15. The entire ocean floor will be mapped. As of today, less than 10% of the global ocean floor has been mapped in detail. Even the surfaces of the Moon, Mars, and other planets are better understood. Organizations in France and Japan are working on a collaborative project called Seabed 2030 that will produce a definitive map of the world ocean floor by 2030. As part of the effort, fleets of automated vessels capable of transoceanic journeys would cover millions of square miles, carrying with them an assortment of sensors and other technologies. These ships would deploy tethered robots to points of interest and all the way down to the floor of the ocean, thousands of miles below the surface. By 2030, the project will be largely complete. The maps would reveal the physical structure of the ocean floor with unprecedented detail, in addition to showing the location of shipwrecks, crashed planes, archaeological artifacts, and other areas of interest. Commercial applications include undersea mining and the inspection of pipelines. It will also allow the surveying of ocean floor conditions for telecommunication cables, offshore wind farms, and future transportation methods. Thanks for watching. Make sure to watch the video to the right about technologies in the year 2040.